Vicky.
In honor of Jeff, Jay Andrews. Hey, good morning, everyone. It's the Pirate Broadcast, and we are here live on a Friday morning or an afternoon with John, and we are going to be bringing you interesting people doing interesting things, and we have none other than John Espirian, who's an amazing technical copywriter and also pretty savvy in the LinkedIn world. So we're going to be diving in a few things like that. A few housekeeping efforts here. You can find the Pirate Broadcast. Follow the hashtag Pirate Broadcast on LinkedIn. Also, if you follow me or you connect with me, I'd love that. I'd appreciate it. Much gratitude. And we're also on YouTube, Facebook, and around social media as well. So follow me on those platforms, and I'd love to share information and provide value every day. And so, John, good day for you. It's in the afternoon for you.
Good afternoon for me. Good morning for you. Nice to be here, Russ. Thanks. This is my first experience of LinkedIn Live, so thank you for having me.
Welcome. I love the fact that we can bring people into the LinkedIn Live arena that have not had the experience yet, or have really, you do video. However, you do narrative video a lot on your profile and your feed.
Yeah, recorded stuff. Yeah, that's right. I have experimented with live video before on Facebook. That was like 3 years ago, just to kind of get a feel for what live video was all about. But then LinkedIn never had that facility until now, so I'm kind of just dipping my toe in here.
Well, the reality is you've been in content creation for a lot of years. I mean, your content creation has been really prevalent in the last 5 years, I would imagine. I don't know when you started doing real heavy content marketing.
Yes.
But tell us how you got here. I mean, why technical copywriting? Ooh. I mean, what's your love of writing? And you posted an article on proofreading, and it's like, oh, man, sign me up, because I'm like, I just create it and put it out there. So
yeah, well, the short version of the story is that I spent about 10 years as a software tester and a quality assurance manager.
Oh,
I was that guy in-house who used to look at manuals that would sometimes be translated from Chinese, and people in the office would think, how does this work? And I'd be the guy who they'd come to who would explain it in simple terms.
So translating many pages of documentation, you decided that you were going to throw your hat in the ring and say, hey, I'm going to be a copywriter.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, there was a redundancy, and then I thought, well, what can I do? Well, my superpower, if I have one, is explaining how stuff works. So I thought, well, let me try to do that as an independent writer, and here I am 10 years later still doing it. And then in terms of getting on LinkedIn, well, I experimented with all the different social platforms, and I tried to be everywhere, and nothing worked for me. And it only kind of, a light bulb went off about 3 years ago, and I thought, well, I work in B2B. Where would the place to be if I wanted to target my clients?
Yeah.
So I thought, well, let's just go all in on this. Instead of just trying to be everywhere, I'm only one guy.
Right.
Let's just try and go narrow instead of going broad. And that's really paid off well. So
well, I think the reality is that, we can be everywhere for the real estate, and we can only really be an authority in a few spots. And it's a play, there are some people out there that have teams of people that make it look really easy. And it actually takes a lot of work and effort in order to achieve results on any platform. The amount of effort that you put into this, John, or the amount of effort that anyone has to develop workflows, systems, things like this to actually be a real content creator and publishing a lot of content. It takes a little bit of time and effort. So I applaud your effort, and thank you for being so very helpful on the platform. So
oh, you're welcome. Well, I mean, my natural style is to poke and prod as many different buttons and menus as I can, and just learn what works. And then I just like to share information. So if I've found a new page, a new setting, a new way of doing things, I don't really believe in keeping that stuff to myself, because the internet has kind of democratized the way that we consume our information. If I don't tell you, someone else is going to. So
that's a breath of fresh air. That's a breath of fresh air, because the old adage, the Industrial Revolution mindset is that if we keep it secret and we don't let anybody know how the sausage is made, we can make better sausage.
Yeah.
And the reality is that, you're in the UK, I'm in the US, the likelihood that we're going to actually compete, and I don't really like that phrase anymore, because it is likely to be zero. It's unusual. There's more than enough work out there for everyone. There's abundance, and it just really continues to grow. And if we help each other, we'll actually both benefit, because there's clients. I'm not a technical copywriter. I need copywriting on a regular basis. So why wouldn't I reach out to John? Because I've had a conversation with you. I know you. I trust you. I know people that know you. And the beautiful thing about it is we had Jeff on, we had Vicky on. And it's like they live within hours of each other. And you're the one that introduced them.
Yeah, you love the way the internet works, don't you? Because I knew them separately, and I thought, well, look, you're in the same state. Why not get together and have a chat? So, so that was really cool. And then they sent me this. That's what I was showing you earlier, the douche canoe mug. So that came across the Atlantic because of that connection that they made.
That is freaking brilliant. I want to give a shout out to Sherry, Vicky.
She's here.
Awesome. So, Sherry, give examples. If you have 100, 500, and 1,000 to spend, where would you put that investment into your business? That's a great question.
That's an interesting question. Well, I don't know if I can answer that one authoritatively, because what my belief is that if you rely on ads, you're in for a long-term losing game. I would much rather prefer building up a long-term set of relationships with people through your content, through conversation. Social medias are brilliant for that, because you can jump in, get involved in comments, you can get involved in direct messages behind the scenes, and you can get to know people and build that kind of know, like, and trust factor. It takes a lot longer. If you say to me now, I've got $5,000 and I need results today, then me talking about building relationship, that's not going to save your business from crumbling right now. But if you're planning to be around in the long term, which I sincerely hope that everyone is, then if you have what Mark Schaefer refers to as a 30-month mindset, if you create content that answers people's questions and gives them something helpful that doesn't try to sell to them, that's the way to just engender trust over time. It takes a lot longer to pay off, but I'm now seeing the results of the effort that I put in 3 years ago when my LinkedIn was just full of tumbleweed and I didn't really know anyone and I wasn't getting any referrals. But now I've got a big network. I've got loads of people who know who I am, who will happily refer work to me because I've shown trust in them. They see the trust in me, and that works. So that if I were to spend a budget on anything, it would be to have that long-term content creation plan. And that takes time and can take a bit of money if you need some external support. But you end up building this content footprint that demonstrates your shape in the world. This is what I'm talking about in the book that I'm writing at the moment, is defining your shape and sticking around long enough for it to imprint itself on people's minds, so that you become the go-to person when they think, who can help me with X? You become that guy.
Well, and I think you bring up a couple of good points, and I want to unpack it a little bit more for Sherry, is that when your business is based on purchase of ad spend, as soon as you quit spending ads,
turn the tap off.
You turn the tap off, things will go down. When you develop long-term relationships and a referral solution for your business, and you develop content creation that's valuable and helpful, like John was speaking about, it's a much longer startup. It's not like the hockey puck that goes straight up. It's more with the relationship and developing the conversations around community and building a community and a culture around your business.
Yep.
And combining the two, if you look at the data, if you have a body of work and you create, like John was suggesting, a library of content that is very useful, helpful, and provides value to the community, and then you can accelerate that content creation process and that expansion of content through paid ads, and then go through that process. So the number one thing that I would start with, if you're just starting out as a business, is create content. Create a lot of content. Create as much content as you could stand to create with the time you have available. So,
yeah.
I mean, would you agree with that? I mean,
yeah, I do. I think the most important thing is to make sure that your content has a high enough value, high enough utility for people to want to share it. There's no point creating content that doesn't get seen. And so, I see so much low value content, some stuff that's salesy or that's just too self-referential, if you like. Aren't we great? No one cares.
And here's a great tip, John, that has worked really well for me. Is you can just go on, do a screen capture software of any kind, and just create a screen capture of a tip that someone could use to improve their profile.
Yeah.
Like a custom header using Canva. I did that video. It's actually in my profile. There's a link there. It teaches you how to upgrade your profile header using a simple free tool. And then you can, if you see someone that has something that they could upgrade, and you notice that, say, hey, I was noticing your profile, and I created this simple free tool, and you DM them and you put it out there and you just offer the value, and people are going, wow, that's great, thank you. I did have one person say, what's wrong with my header? It's like, nothing's wrong with your header. I just offering a piece of value here that you can use it or not. You don't have to. So
yeah, but this is what I try and focus on in all of my content, is just something with high levels of helpfulness or utility, if you like.
Yeah.
And I've come up with an acronym that I recommend to people to think about for their content, which is CHAIR. That's challenging, helpful, amusing, interesting, and relevant. If you can hit a couple of those high-level things in your content, and you can do that on a consistent basis, then you'll start to create stuff that people will want to talk about, will want to share, and then people will check out more of your profile. On LinkedIn, the profile views are your lottery tickets. They're the things that you want to try to maximize, because a small proportion of those people are going to turn into customers. So the more people you can get consuming your content, enjoying it, then checking you out on your profile, a proportion of those people will turn into customers. This is what has happened for me. Just takes a while for it to work, and that's the message that people struggle with. Everyone wants that easy button. Like,
well, when you can get a package from Amazon tomorrow, it's much easier for the instant gratification to kick in. And really, life is quick, life is fast, technology is changing every day. We wake up, and like when Jeff was on the show, we were talking. He was like, "Yeah, I looked at my profile, and there had been changes already." So that's going to be more commonplace than we'd like to imagine. However, I really believe that longer term, building community and relationship is going to be the longer lasting opportunity that we have. So, and I want to give a shout out to Kenyatta. Kenyatta is actually on a Tuesday. She's going to be joining us on Tuesday on the show. So she's awesome. Vicky, Angie loves proofreading, by the way, John. So she's great. Fantastic. Well, I have a confession to make. My son sent me a text message with a screenshot in it that says, "Proofread your stuff, Dad." He didn't use those words, but it's like, clean it up. George, Jessica, oh man, just a lot of people joining in. Chalik, Brenda, thank you so much for being here. Everybody, we got John Espirian in. We're talking about content creation, relationship building, and building a community around your ideas and your value that you're bringing to the table. And when you really come down to sharing your gift, because I believe everybody has a gift, John, and you have the opportunity to share that in a relevant way over and over again, it just, people show up and start asking for help with what you're doing. Has that been your experience? That's been my experience anyway. So
yes, it is. I mean, as I said to you at the beginning, my superpower is being able to explain stuff. And the thing that really gives me a thrill is when you get a reaction where people go, "Oh, why didn't someone just say that to begin with?" Well, I get it now.
Yeah.
And I love that. When I get that from someone who was struggling with something and I've taken them to somewhere where they understand it now and the world's okay again.
Yeah.
That's a great feeling. So that's the kind of stuff I would like to do, even if I weren't being paid. So it happens to be my job to explain stuff, but it's something I like to do. And this is what I try to do in my LinkedIn content as well. So it's really important to try and dial into why you're doing, what your place of happiness is in your work. And if you're fortunate enough, like me, to be able to do something that you enjoy, then it will seep out in ways, and people will be attracted to that enjoyment that you show.
Absolutely. And it's so amazing because there are things like that when you're in it, time kind of disappears and you're just kind of like in the groove, and that it's bringing you joy every day, and it becomes something that you become passionate about, and it's really exciting to be able to get in that spot. So
the thing I want to say about that as well, though, is I think I alluded to this earlier. It will take time if you're going from a standing start. And most of the people who consume your stuff on LinkedIn or indeed any online social community will be in the lurker category.
Yeah.
What I call the consumer category in my book. And they're the people who never show up. I mean, they're there. They're behind the velvet rope looking at what you're doing, but you just can't see them.
Right.
And for the first 9 months or something, when I was going hard on LinkedIn from the start of 2017, I mean, precisely nothing happened. It was like I was talking to a brick wall. But because I'd studied content marketing, I kind of knew that people are out there. People will be interested in this niche. I've got a sustainable business idea here.
Yeah.
I just needed to push through and keep going until those people started to come from behind that velvet rope and go, "Hi, this is actually quite good."
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything different to what I was doing back then.
No.
I'm just reaping the rewards now. And too many people just give up too soon because they just don't see the signs of progress early on. So you really need to stick at it.
Well, and from a marketing perspective too, I've had clients that, you create a website for them, or you create an email list, or you create some automation, or you do something. So like websites, website 1.0, it was essentially a brochure on the internet, and then it became something more, and it's evolving over time. And people say, social media a lot of times is like, well, yeah, I had a YouTube page or I had a Facebook page. It didn't do anything for my business. My customers aren't on Facebook. Well, that's not really accurate. Your customers are just not showing up as customers on. It's not, hey, I'm a customer of yours, or I want to buy your stuff. It's more like you have to actually encourage the conversation to take place on social media, because the choices that people have, it's not a billboard going down the highway. It's not the only billboard on this street. It's the choice is endless. And so the mindset of the individual and the business has to change to adopt the digital mindset, because abundance is here and choice is an option. And we have to understand that when we're creating content, we have to continue. It's a long game. It's not a short game. It's not an overnight success. It's a long game. And when you show up, people find you. It's amazing how people can find you for the content that you wrote a year ago.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, once you get a fan, you go into your back catalog and see the stuff that you did years ago when no one knew who you were. I was looking at I put a stat in my book, which is, although I don't run a podcast myself, I do contribute to one. But the average number of episodes of podcasts before they die off is 7. That just, I mean, imagine how many failed podcasts there are out there because of lack of planning and lack of kind of the bigger picture of saying, we need to stick at this. Whereas you see people who've made hundreds of episodes, and surprise, surprise, they're successful.
It's amazing. It's like, okay, it only took me 10 years to make it look this easy, right?
Yeah, the whole overnight success thing is rubbish, isn't it? Because a lot of people discovering me for the first time on LinkedIn, might say, it's easy for you because you've got this big network and blah blah blah. You get hundreds of comments on your posts. Yeah, but go and look back at 2017 and then let's have a talk then.
Yeah, let's have another conversation. And if you're looking to find out where John can be found, right here, LinkedIn, John Espirian.
Yeah, I'm blessed with a very unusual surname, so I'm very easy to find.
It's great. Go connect with him and make sure that you comment on his videos, you engage with him, because engagement allows us to build reputation and a relationship, and have a conversation with them. And it's like, I ask people all the time to get on the show and the program, and it's very easy. I'm booking people in January now, and it's like there's so many people that have so many gifts that I just think it's really important for us to build a community around these ideas and these concepts, because it's amazing to me how often people underestimate what actually takes place in day-to-day activity. Yeah. So John, what do you do to find joy in your day? I mean, writing is one piece, but what else brings you joy in your day?
Well, if I could have chosen the career I wanted, I would have been a professional footballer. That's the proper kind of football, not the oval-shaped thing that you guys throw around. But there are a couple of blockers, which is 1, my weight, and 2, my complete lack of skill. So
there is that,
the minor things.
Yeah.
That would have been my ideal. I'd love to have been a sports writer, for example. That'd be fantastic, actually. Just go to games and then write about them. That'd be even better. But I like sci-fi. I like football. I'm deep into the Apple Mac ecosystem.
Okay.
I've been a Mac fan for more than 20 years now. And I enjoy spending time with my daughter, who's 10 now and is frighteningly intelligent, and will be probably kicking me out of the way soon and taking over all this junk.
Well, it's amazing how much information they can consume, though. I mean, compared to when we were 10, right?
Wow. I mean, just the idea of the internet and mobile phones and tablets, and it was all alien, I mean, I didn't have a dial-up modem until I was probably hitting 20. So, it's just a different world, isn't it? But
it's a little different.
There we go.
So walk us through the process. So what would a typical client engagement look like? I mean, it's like, okay, like right now, my LinkedIn profile isn't what it could be. It's like, okay, cobbler shoe, always, the plumber's sink always leaks kind of concept. Is like, okay, I can continue to update and upgrade my profile.
Yeah.
However, seeing it from a new perspective is oftentimes a better choice, because I mean, my limiting beliefs and my imposter syndrome and everything kicks in when I'm writing something for myself. It's like,
there's no substitute for getting a second pair of eyes on your content. So if we're talking about what a LinkedIn review would look like, I focus first and foremost on the headline, because that's the one piece of text other than your name, which you can't change, Other than your name, the headline is the one piece of text that follows you around every part of LinkedIn. Whenever you get referenced, your headline is there.
Right.
That makes it an incredibly important piece of strategic content.
Yeah.
And in the book, I talk about chunking your headline into 3 sections that attend three things. So you need to be interesting, you need to be informative, and you need to be intriguing. You need to try and get all of those things into 120 characters. So, and specifically the first 40 characters is very important to get right, because on mobile, the first 40 characters is all you'll see when you look at someone's post or their comments
right
in the feed, right? So you can click to expand and see the whole thing, but you'll only see the first 40. So what you want is to condense that into kind of like a stock cube of very clear, interesting, different information that makes it clear what you do.
So would it be possible to write your headline to almost complement or accelerate the use of your elevator pitch, so to speak?
Well, yeah, I mean, my approach is that you should, as a brand, if you think of yourself as a brand, you need to define 4 or 5 brand values that define your shape in the world. And then you need to pick one of those as your anchor value and condense that down into the first 40 characters that says what is it that you do and who you serve and how that's special in some way. And that's really, really hard to do in 40 characters, but this is what I go into in the book. The next 60 characters is for information. So for things like SEO keywords and things that will expand on the context of those first 40. Then you've got 20 characters left.
Brenda
sorry.
Miller asks if you have gotten a response to the last part of your headline, John.
Oh yeah, lots. The last part is what I call a bravery badge. So I've written "not a douche canoe." that links back to something else that's in my book, which is to define the person that you don't want to serve in your business. So you need to define the person that you do want to serve, which is what I call a pen portrait. You also want to define the opposite, which is a poison portrait, the kind of person that you want to just run a mile away from when you see them.
Okay.
And in my case, this guy who's a salesy douche canoe, slick back hair, gold cufflinks, and very entitled and always late to meetings. He's a salesy douche canoe, and I'm just kind of saying I'm not that. And people sometimes connect with me and say, I found that funny, or what does this mean? And the whole point of it is something memorable, and it's a conversation starter.
Yeah.
And the one key thing to business on LinkedIn is getting involved in more conversations. You can do it in 2 ways: publicly in comments, which are the gold standard on LinkedIn. That's how to get engagement and drive your post to go further. And privately through direct messages. And when you connect with people, you want to start a direct message conversation with them. So there's no point trying to connect with 200 people, because you're never going to get a chance to have conversations with that number of people per day.
Yeah.
But something like a bravery badge, so not a douche canoe for me, that starts conversations. That makes people more interested. It will turn some people off as well. They'll think, who's this cartoon?
But that's the people that you may not want to attract if they don't understand the humor in it or the reason it's there.
Yeah, it's one of the key lessons I've learned this year from a conference. I was speaking to an American content marketer called Doug Kessler, and he said that your marketing should be like a filter or a magnet. It should attract, but it also has a job to do in repelling. It must repel.
It repels the people that are not your people.
That's it. So the kind of people who would never want to see someone go on stage and speak in a T-shirt with a cartoon on it, or to refer to douche canoes, or use emojis in their post, they're not for me, and that's fine. That's great. I want to filter those people out. But the people who do like it, that they'll be more likely to turn into customers because they resonate with something that I'm trying to do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, John, this has been tremendous, and it's an opportunity to learn more about who John Espirian is and share a little bit. I just want to go back, Marion, Jerry, Jessica. Thank you so much, Brenda, for the comments. Sid, just Cole, Kenyatta, look forward on Tuesday. Seth Marlowe, appreciate you. All of these individuals took time out today and followed up and joined in the conversation. And I would love the opportunity to have LinkedIn provide an easier access for this rather than me distracting my conversation off the phone. However, we got what we got right now, and it's a beautiful thing, and I appreciate every moment of it because I get to talk with people like John and share comments and respond back to comments. And I appreciate all the gratitude in the world of you being here, John, and everybody in the comments. And if you're listening to this in the future, just do hashtag reply so I know that you're watching it afterward, and I can follow up with you as well. As I said, suggested on the intro, on YouTube, Facebook, and also you can find me on all social platforms. So just I'd love to connect with you. I'd love to have a conversation. Love to hear what you're looking for, what information would be valuable and helpful. A lot of times we do mindset and LinkedIn and marketing and some things on the Pirate Broadcast, but it's all about bringing your gifts from interesting people doing interesting things. So John, thank you so much. When's your book due out?
It's coming out at the end of April 2020.
April 2020. Awesome.
Not far away now.
Not far away. It's going to happen quickly. 2020. I can't believe it's 2020. Oh. Well, thank you so much, John. Have a fabulous Friday and a wonderful weekend. Kindness is cool.
Thanks for having me, Russ. Cheers.
You bet. Anytime. Kindness is cool. Smiles are free. And you enjoy the day.
Good stuff.